Hey guys, and welcome back to Grace of a Military Child and Life podcast. Life from the perspective of a military family member is way different than a civilian standpoint. Military children and family members give up their hopes and dreams to be able to stand by and support their service member, and it isn't an easy lifestyle for anyone to live. I hope that this podcast is able to help connect the military community and give others just a glimpse into what the military life is like from the perspective of spouses and children. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to today's episode of Grace of a Military Child in Life. Today, I'm here with Abigail, who is a military spouse. So, Abigail, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good.
Good. So, tell me what it's like for you being part of a military family and, some of the experiences you've had.
Well, so far, my husband has been in for almost 5 years now, and we've really enjoyed it, but we haven't done as much as like a normal military family. He is in the Air Force, so he went to BMC at Lackland, and then he had his tech school there. And then after that, he got stationed at Lackland. So we have been here at the same base for the past 5 years. So
I will say Lackland's nice.
We haven't gotten to move.
San Antonio, yes. I love San Antonio.
Yes, there's so much to do here, so it's been really nice. I don't like the summers though, but
yeah, I don't blame you. We lived at Fort Sam for 3 years, so
cool.
Just a little bit away.
I know where that is.
But yeah, my dad used to go to the hospital at Lackland a lot too. BAMC, now called SAMC, it was his main hospital, but then we did go to Lackland. He had like eye surgery in there and stuff, so some things needed to be done at Lackland, so I do remember going there quite a bit. But that's awesome. What do you like about San Antonio?
Well, I love the base here and just like the community and all. We used to live on base, but then we moved off. But I love just how close like everybody is to each other, so it's really nice. Have good community and nice friends. So
yeah, San Antonio, I mean, it's joint base San Antonio, so it'll be nice to have that community military.
Yes, we've met all sorts of different people.
Yeah, there's like the 2 Air Force bases there with Randolph, and then the Army base, and you've literally got everyone there. That's incredible. Yeah, I'm sure having that military community, because it's literally military USA there, they say it like that for a reason, but having that military community will make, a challenging time like that deployment so much easier.
Yeah, my husband's deploying for the first time. He's actually leaving in about a week, so I'm kind of nervous, but I have friends that, have just been through the same thing. So it's nice having people that I can relate to, So I think that'll help a lot.
Yeah, I love, the military community. They say military family, and it's for a reason. It's so true, because once you get connected with people, it's literally you have your actual family, your blood family, and then you literally get a whole new family once you join the military family.
Yeah. So it's really neat.
Yeah. It's crazy, me having grown up in it, I kind of have experienced it my whole life, and there's people that, have written me letters, but I've never like actually met before unless I was an infant. But, they still, their family, like, they were my uncles. My dad was, serving with them. So they're literally my uncles, and I haven't met them, technically. But, the military family, the military community, it's so special and so important. And I'm sure like you have little ones, growing up. It's a tough lifestyle to grow up in, but it's so rewarding.
Yeah. We have 3. My oldest is about to turn 4. So they're all like very little.
Yeah.
Very close in age.
Yeah.
But it's neat because like when we're on base, my daughter, she'll see other men in like uniforms and she'll go, "It's Daddy!" Like no, it's not daddy. They
She
all look
sees
the
the
same.
uniform and think, well, they do, like, because,
Yep.
you have to fit in regulations. So everyone
Yep.
dresses the same, looks the same, basically. Everyone kind
Hmm.
of has that same military personality too. You've got complete
Hmm.
opposite ends, but everyone kind of has the same sort of vibe going on. So I'm sure at such a young
Hmm.
age, it's easy to get mixed up.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got her a little uniform and she looks so cute in it.
that's so sweet. No, I always go, into clothing and sales and I see those little uniforms and like the little infant like
Hmm.
this camouflage stuff and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's so
Yeah.
cute." I love it.
Yeah.
I That's some of the perks of being military. I love the camo, everything. So,
Hmm.
yeah, no,
Me
that's so
too.
cool.
When I was little, I always said I wanted to marry someone in the military, or I wanted to be in the military, either one. And it happened. So
Yeah. Why did you like, was it just something about it that you were just so drawn to?
I loved how like e- they're so patriotic and like just the fact that people were willing to like serve others and serve their country and be willing to do that for other people. I think that's what I like the most about it was
Yeah.
just I couldn't imagine like leaving your family, leaving where you grew up to, serve your country and all. I just thought it was very special.
Yeah.
So,
It takes a special person to be a service member, but not only be a service member, but to also be a spouse. Because as kids, we kind of just are thrown into it. We don't get that choice. We grow up in
hmm.
it. Um, but as a spouse, you have more you have more of a decision, whether you want to be part of the lifestyle or not.
Hmm.
And so it takes a very special person to be part of it. And, a lot, unfortunately, so many military marriages end up failing because of how taxing the lifestyle is.
Yeah.
But it takes a special, person to stand by the service member's side and support them throughout their career, whether
Hmm.
that be a short military tenure or 20 plus years. It really takes a special person.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think that's one reason why I really looked up to military families and all. I just thought it was very neat.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you have someone in your
but I met
family
my
who was
husband.
military?
No, well, I have a great uncle. He was Air Force,
Okay.
but I don't know him that well.
Yeah.
Other than that, we weren't around it much. So
Just like seeing it in on news and stuff and hearing about it, and that's so special.
yeah, yeah.
So, what kind of like, you've only lived in in the area of Lackland. Like, how has that impacted you? Are you like ready to move? Are you ready? Are you done with Texas?
I'm done with the heat. I do not like the summers, but
Yes, I don't blame
we
you.
found a really good church. We found a really good church family here, and there's
Yeah.
lots of military also. So I want to stay just because of all the friends that I've made. Um, I really don't want to leave, but then again, it would be nice to have a change.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of on the fence about it.
Texas is so when we moved from Texas to Florida, it was such a hard change because we all loved it there so much, but we knew we had to move on. I struggled for 3 years. I was like, "Why did we leave Texas? I just wanna move
Oh.
back to Texas."
Hmm.
I love San Antonio. I love the culture. Fiesta Week is my favorite. But yeah, I can see where the heat gets it. Um, we're in Florida, like I said, and the Florida heat, I don't know which I'd rather have the Texas heat because it's dry heat, it's not as humid, where here it's just sticky and
Uh-huh.
terrible. So
Oof, oof, I don't like that.
no, but yeah, no, Texas, and it's military USA, and we found a really good church when we lived there too. We went to Community Bible Church. So, just the
That's
community in
great.
Texas, the people there, you know, they say Texas
Hmm.
has something about it that is indescribable, and it's so true.
Hmm. Yeah, I love it here. I'm glad that my daughters, all three of them, were born here in Texas.
Oh.
They were actually born at BAMC.
Oh,
So,
really?
well, the oldest two were. The youngest one I had a home birth, but the oldest two were born on base.
We loved, my dad spent a little while in the hospital in BAMC, which is one reason why we ended up going to Texas. He was injured in Afghanistan, but we always loved going in the elevators and walking around the hospital and stuff and hearing the
Oh,
little sound when the babies are born. It's the
oh
sweetest
yes,
thing
that's so
ever.
neat.
No,
I love
we
that. Yeah.
always love that because, we're, in the hospital, like, there's so much going on. All these guys are coming back injured and severely wounded and stuff. And so hearing just, you know, like the
Hmm.
little glimmer of hope, more or less, when a baby's born. And
Yeah.
it's so heartwarming.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's so special to say that they were born there. I love that.
Hmm.
What kind of things are you looking forward to? You said you've been part of the military life for about 5 years now. And you said you have a deployment coming up, so obviously that's hard, but what kind of things are you looking forward to coming up?
I am looking forward to him getting back. Like he he went to El Paso for training,
Mhm.
and during COVID, he went to Guam and El Paso for training.
Wow.
But he ended up not getting deployed because of COVID. But um, so I don't like saying goodbye at the airport, but I love it when he gets back and
Yeah.
just getting to hug him again for the first time, and that's really special.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm looking forward to that, the homecoming. Um, and then he's planning on switching careers, so that'll be nice because he does security forces right now, and the schedule is pretty rough. We're kind of hoping he can get a different job with a better schedule.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome. There's so many fun things, like, the challenging of trainings and deployments and, long-term things, and you never know what'll come up, what happens, but, there's so many things. Like I said, military life is so rewarding, and being a child in it, and then, I've seen a little bit
mhm,
from the significant other side of it. It's such a rewarding lifestyle that, you know, you just have to take it day by day some days.
mhm, yeah, it's hard. There's the like rough patches, but like in the big picture, like I do love it. So,
Yeah, and hopefully one day you'll get to move to a different climate at least,
mhm.
something better than the summers in
Eventually, I'd
Texas.
love to visit. Yes, I'd love to visit like Alaska or Montana, like mountains and cold and snow.
I know, and people, I grew up in Cleveland, and so, then I've lived in the South since I was, like, 9 and a half, 10 years old. I've lived in the
Mhm,
South, and everyone's like, "You don't miss the snow, do you?" And I was like, "No, actually, I do miss the snow." As weird as it is to say, like, I actually do. I miss the snow, and I love, I just went to Seattle not too long ago, and I loved seeing the mountains. Alaska's gorgeous. We did a cruise, a few years back, like 9 years back now. Um, it's so gorgeous, and I love that the military life can just instill that, like, a little bit of wanderlust in you, and, just traveler at heart.
mhm, mhm. I've always loved traveling. Like, it's just funny because we've been stuck here in this one place. We haven't done any
Yeah.
traveling. Um, but I always loved going on road trips with my family. I've never ridden on a plane before, so I'd love
Oh
to
my
be able to
gosh.
experience that at some point.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's a totally different way of traveling rather than a road trip.
mhm.
I love that. That
I
is
think
so
it's funny
exciting.
though that he's been in for this long, and we just haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, because normally it's like between 2 and 4 years, you're like packing up the boxes and moving away. It's very rare to stay in
Hmm.
in one location for so long. But it's special
Yeah.
when you are able to stay there for so long because you kind of see the transitions of the other families coming through and things like that too. So there's
Hmm.
pros and cons. At least you're in San Antonio rather than like the middle of nowhere. It could be a much worse base.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hopefully you'll be able to go somewhere and explore another area of this country.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to move back closer to where all of our family is.
Yeah.
Because we only get to see them maybe once every 2 years or once a year. So it would be nice to get to see them more often.
Yeah. There's so many like when you join the military, when you marry in the military, that's one of the hardest things is leaving family and leaving that, in a sense, old life behind.
Hmm.
But it's fun to go back and visit and things like that, but it still makes it hard.
Hmm. Yeah, when we first got married, um, he had to be back like within that week. So we
Mhm.
got married, and then the day after, we had to drive down to Texas, and that was very hard because I really missed my family. I
Yeah.
love being married, but I really missed them at first.
Yeah, it's
It was a
definitely
hard transition.
exactly. It's a hard transition. It's hard trying to, go to a new area and be like, I don't know anyone here. Like, let me try to make myself at home where it's not home and figure all that out. Cause like
Yeah.
military kids, we say we don't have a home. We've moved around. We're like, we don't have a home. That's the hardest question. If you ever ask a military
Hmm.
child, say, where's home? And they're gonna be like, I don't know. Like I was born in Cleveland. I spent 3 years in Texas from like
Yeah.
9 to 12. I was in Texas. And then, my teenage and young adult years were in Florida. So I'm like, they each hold a special place in my heart. So it's like I can't choose one or the other. And then if I choose Texas, then it's like,
Hmm.
but Ohio just feels like home, and Florida I spent so long in, and it's hard to pick a home. So, but as a spouse coming into it, you
Hmm.
have a home that you're leaving behind and family and everything that it's so hard.
Hmm. Yeah, but I am excited for my girls to get to grow up like this and with military. They do have a very close relationship with like their grandparents. We video chat a lot, and I think I think they will do very well growing up
Yeah, technology has
in a military
advanced
home.
so much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
military
really nice getting to video chat with them.
Yeah, when I was growing up in it, we didn't have video chat. We still did pen pals, which was so fun too. And like people still do pen
Oh,
pals. There's nothing wrong with pen pals.
uh-huh.
Um, but military kids are just so resilient and military families as a whole are so resilient and so strong and it's incredible to see and to having grown up in it and then seeing it from a different perspective as a young adult now, it's incredible.
How did you do when like your dad deployed and stuff? Like how was that
It was hard. It was really
from
hard.
like
I
it
was
from like a
9.
kid's perspective?
Yeah. It's hard.
Oh,
I was so young that it was hard and I'm a daddy's girl, so I was like so attached to him. Like
oh,
I literally cried for a week. It
uh-huh.
was really hard for me, but we did little fun things
Mm-hmm.
before he left. And one thing that we did, and I still have it to this day, went to Build-A-Bear, and we got little voice boxes with his voice in it. So mine said, "I love
Oh.
you, Gracie."
Uh-huh.
And so many families do it too. Like, so it's not uncommon and unheard of, but you just put a little voice box in of, dad saying something, or, if it's my mom who serves, mom or dad saying something in the little voice box, put it in the bear, and then when you need something, you can just like, press that
Oh.
little thing. Um, so yeah, that was really special. We did things to
Uh-huh.
make it easier. I love journaling. Obviously your girls are not old enough to journal yet. But I love journaling, and so we got little notebooks and we decorated them and we wrote letters to dad. I probably wrote letters like almost every night. Um, but so we like write letters to dad, and we had the Build a
Oh.
Bear, and then we did it was supposed to be a 400-day deployment. And so one night we counted out, I have one younger sister, so we counted out 800 Hershey kisses, so that we each had a Hershey kiss every night, and it was like a kiss from dad.
Oh.
So there's ways to make it fun,
That's
not
so sweet.
that it's fun, but we tried to make it fun, and to
Yeah.
do things like little things like that. So it made it
Mm-hmm.
tolerable.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you've still got
Yeah,
time,
because
but
yeah, yeah, it feels like it's coming up like way too fast. He's already like getting his gear out and packing, and I think it didn't quite hit me like how soon he was leaving till he started getting his gear and like packing all of his uniforms. Like there's uniforms all over the house, and it's just
yeah.
hitting me like, wow, like this is getting really close.
Yeah, it's really a challenge, and I could not imagine doing it with three little ones, all under the age of 4, 4 and under. Um, so kudos to
Yeah.
you, but I know everything is so different, but military families are so strong and resilient that, you know, you get through it. You figure out how to get through it no matter what the case is.
Hmm. Hmm. Thankfully, they said it's going to be a 4-month deployment instead of 6 months. So I'm hoping it stays that way.
Yeah, the
It'll
shorter
be
the better.
short.
Exactly, because
Yes.
you get 4 months and you're like, all right, 4 months is going to go by. And it does go by really fast. Um, but then it's like, okay, don't
Hmm.
extend, don't extend, don't. So the last thing, like I always ask on the podcasts, but what is one piece of advice you would give to another military spouse?
Think on this first.
I know it's
There's
hard to
so
just
much.
give one, like, you could summarize. What would you say to another military spouse?
I say it is hard. It's a hard life, but it's so worth it. Um, just I love I love getting to help serve alongside my husband. Even though I'm not getting deployed. I'm not, the one wearing the uniform and stuff, but I like getting to help support him, and I feel like I am helping in a way. I'm helping raise his kids while he's gone, and it's hard, but in the end, like it's all worth it.
Yeah. No, it's so worth it. And, it's so rewarding. It's so challenging, but rewarding at the same time. And it's an incredible lifestyle. And there's so much positive about it. Even though it's
Mhm.
hard, it makes it all worth it.
I like how they get leave days because, like, growing up, my dad didn't get much time off.
Yeah.
And even though like their militaries and military trips, like TDYs, deployments and stuff, um, he actually gets to be home quite often. With all the leave days, he gets saved up. So we do get lots of time with him, which is really nice.
Yeah. So, those hard, long days with long hours and, when it's like, oh my gosh, can you just come home?
Yes.
you get a good amount of leave with it. So it does add up.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Abigail, for being on the podcast and sharing what it's like for you being a military spouse and the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Grace of a Military Child and Life. Make sure to set a reminder for every Tuesday to listen to a new episode. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at Grace of a Military Child and Life. If you have any questions or want to be on the podcast, send a message to one of our social media platforms or email grace.of.a.military.child@gmail.com. See you next week.